Hello, welcome back to the channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews. Don't do unboxings, but we might do a few playthroughs in the near future. No, we won't. But today we're going to be talking about a real Roman antiquity. We're going to be talking about the ancient Downfall of Pompeii, and in this game you'll be placing your workers and maybe your relatives out onto the board in the safest place possible so that you can move them out of Pompeii when the volcano inevitably erupts. So in this video we're going to be giving you a very brief overview of the rules, be telling you what we do like, what we don't like. Then we'll come back and we'll tell you whether or not the Downfall of Pompeii is still worth your time and bother. I don't know, when was it first released? This one says 2013, but I think it's a little bit earlier than that, whenever it was first released. So remember, if you are new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. If you're not new here, why the fuck haven't you subscribed already? And we'll see you after this. Bollocks. So, Downfall of Pompeii. How'd you play this game? So, Downfall of Pompeii is one of them classic Euro-style games that were created, fucking hell, when you were probably still in fucking nappies, you know what I mean? You're going to put the board out in the centre of the table, and you've got this, in my version at least, you've got this sort of plastic volcano. You're going to wrap around and slot inside each other, and you'll put it in the recess on the board, right? I think the earlier version came with a really shitty cardboard hexagon type volcano, yeah? And this game is weird for me because I have this memory of having played this game with my son, and I've torn this fucking house apart trying to find it, and it's not anywhere to be seen. So I think it's a case of I imagined actually owning and playing this game, or maybe I dreamt about it, or maybe I got a fucking split personality and I'm out of my fucking mind. So you're going to get a hand of 4 cards. You are going to get a bunch of these like barrel cubes, like they've nicked them from Power Grid, and the phases work like this. You will play one of the 4 cards from your hand, you'll put one of your game pieces on a board, and then you'll draw back up to 4 cards, yeah? If you look at the cards you've been given, then you'll see that there is some important information on them, yeah? There is a number which corresponds to the building where you're going to place your citizen. If you play the card, there is a colour which may be turquoise, purple, brown, I think, and one other colour. This corresponds to the colour of the buildings because some buildings are split into 2 different segments. And then you've got some symbols at the bottom which will refer to relatives, which we'll get into in a little bit. There's also a couple of other cards in the deck, like the omen cards. This will allow you to remove one of your opponent's citizens from a building and toss it into the volcano. And there's an AD 79 card that when that's revealed, that will signal the start of the second phase, right, which we'll get into in a little bit, you impatient shitbags. So you're going to play a card from your hand, yeah? You're going to look at what's on the card. There'll be a number, a colour, and a bunch of symbols at the bottom. If you play like the turquoise one, for instance, I think that exists, you put that in front of you, and then you'll place one of your citizens in that building, yeah? In addition to this, there are neutral buildings, and you can't put your workers in here unless they are relatives. But once again, we're jumping ahead, yeah? We'll get into that in a bit, yeah? If the building is split into 2, you get to choose which of the 2 segments of the building you put your citizen in. So if you add a citizen to a building that has already got a citizen in it, doesn't matter what colour it is, could be your colour or somebody else's, then you get to bring over some of your relatives. Hang on a minute, and the Labour government's trying to stop that. It's ancient Rome, isn't it? Relatives can be placed in buildings of the same colour, or they can be put in neutral buildings. I think they're called hotels, aren't they? And for each game piece already in the building where you put your citizen, you get to bring over that number of relatives, yeah? And they can go anywhere they want, well, as long as it's the same colour building or a neutral building. You can't put your relatives in the same building as the citizen that you place, because that'd be weird, wouldn't it? That would like sort of be Roman incest that never happened. And if you put relatives in a building that's already got citizens in it, then this doesn't sort of trigger a massive Roman orgy or anything like that, you know what I mean? It just means that they're just going to be sleeping on the chaise longue. There's also wild cards in the game, and this means that you can put one of your pieces in any free space in any building regardless of the colour, yeah? So it's just like a free-for-all, yeah? Just move in, fucking kick everyone out and squat there like one of those tree-hugging crusty motherfuckers. So when you draw the AD 79 card, this is when Mount Vesuvius will erupt, yeah? This is like the second phase of the game as opposed to the first phase. So when this happens, you're going to get rid of all of your remaining cards, yeah? The player that triggered the second phase will draw a tile from the bag, and you'll see that there are spaces with like a little 1 on it, yeah? And these are the first lava tile spaces, so you're going to have to put the tile you drew on one of these spaces. You're going to go clockwise until 6 lava tiles are on the board, and then then the second phase consists of this. You are going to draw a lava tile from the bag and place it on the board, and then move 2 of your game pieces, yeah, because you're going to be running for your fucking life like you've never done so before. So yeah, you draw a lava tile from the bag, you will place it adjacent to any other lava tile. If you manage to put it on a space where there's a citizen, they're going to be thrown into the volcano, and if any citizen is blocked from escaping through any of the gates out of Pompeii, then they will be chucked into the volcano and all. So once you've done this, you'll be able to move 2 of your pieces. So the number of pieces in the section you are in determines how many spaces you can move. For each piece in that section, you'll be able to move 1 space, right? There's some fiddly rules about like moving backwards and forwards and all that, but don't worry about that. You can't move on lava squares, right? Unless you want to burn your little tootsies. And if a game piece is moved out of the city, passing through one of the gates, then they're safe in the volcano. And that's the sort of thing that you want to sort of aim for, you know what I mean? So there's a couple of little exceptions. One is that if you only have 1 game piece left in the city, you may use both of your moves to move that piece, which stands to reason, isn't it? Because you're not moving a fucking ghost, are you? And if a piece is alone on a square, then you can move that piece twice instead of moving 2 different pieces, yeah? So the end of the game is triggered when you draw the final lava tile, and the player that saved the most whiny little shits from the eruption of Mount Vesuvius will be the winner of the Downfall of Pompeii. So what do we like about the Downfall of Pompeii? So the first thing that we really like about this is the way that the game is split up into phase 1 and phase 2, and the fact that you don't have a phase 3 or a 4 or a 5 or a 6 or you get to make up these makeshift plans about how you're going to save all your citizens, placing them in the buildings that have got the most efficient way of escaping the city. And when you come to the second phase, you're going to be able to see your plans come to fruition, sit back and bask in the monumental achievement of saving every single last one of those fucking power grid hexagon barrels, yeah? So yeah, the game fools you into thinking that the plans you make in the first half of the game are actually going to follow through, steady on son, in the second part of the game. And that's part of the fun, is seeing if your haphazard plans actually do come to fruition, right? So the second thing that we really like about this is that you get the opportunity to be a little bit of a bastard in this game, yeah? Because when you draw a lava tile from the bag, you can place it adjacent to other lava tiles, and that means that you can target other players, yeah? Not only can you place the lava tile directly on top of a citizen that's just about to stroll through the pearly gates, but you can also block a bunch of citizens in, right? And sometimes you've got to make that decision in terms of whether or not you're going to sacrifice your own citizens for the greater good of fucking over your opponent that's going to allow you to win the game, right? So yeah, there is a little bit of take that in this, but it's anchored down and balanced with strategy, right? So the third thing that we really like about the Downfall of Pompeii is the idea of when you place your citizens into a building, that is going to dictate how many relatives you can stick on the board. But the thing is, the more citizens there are in a building, the more relatives the other player is going to be able to place on the board. So in putting your citizen in what looks like a decent position, you're going to be gifting your opponents more options when they place their citizens, yeah? So it's a kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, but you can mitigate that as well, do you know what I mean? So what don't we like about the Downfall of Pompeii? So the first thing that we don't like about it, and this is pretty obvious, isn't it? This game is as ancient as Zeus's arsehole. So obviously we're going to say it looks like complete and utter dog shit. I mean, it's not a massive deal for me because, I don't know, I quite like Euro games. If you're one of these generation fucking Z gamers that has been primed on these massive Kickstarter miniatures, then you are not going to want to play this, yeah, because you're going to look at it as if you've just wiped a load of diarrhea off your bum cheeks, you know what I mean? Yeah, it looks like complete shit. I admit that. This is one of them games that's crying out for a reprint with the right publisher, not some fucking Castles of Burgundy plastic fucking lump of turd. Just a bog standard reprint without anthropomorphic animals that keeps this game largely intact, yeah, because it could do with a fresh lick of paint, you know what I mean? So the second thing that we don't really like about this game is that it can feel unfair if you are targeted by other players multiple times in the second phase. I mean, you might just be running around in your toga and then suddenly somebody dumps a lava tile on top of one of your citizens, and then they do it again, and they do it again, and they do it again, and there's nothing you can do about it because the tiles that you draw can't go in a space next to their citizens. Yeah, so it can feel like you're sort of banging your head against a brick wall, but then again, this game is only 45 minutes long, so you're only going to be banging your head against a brick wall a couple of times, aren't you? Just go and get some fucking Anadin Extra, you daft So the final thing that we don't like about this game is that omen cards do feel a little bit random. I mean, you draw an omen card, you're going to be able to take another player's citizen off the board and dump it in a volcano. I mean, like, why? If one player draws all them omen cards, they're going to have a leg up over the opposition for no good reason other than they just drew a card, yeah? And I'm trying to rack my brain trying to think, why are the omen cards in here? Maybe it's just a variant. It might be to balance the initial card draw when you place your citizens out of the board, but I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I suppose you could take them out, but I'm sort of too scared to do that. So to summarise, is the Downfall of Pompeii worth your time and bother X amount of years after you came out of nappies? So we are going to say yes, absolutely. The Downfall of Pompeii is a great example of what the board game industry has, for one reason or another, lost. Style now rules over substance, and that is a real Greek tragedy. Yeah, I know it's a fucking Roman thing game, yeah. Shut the fuck up. Downfall of Pompeii is a little bit like Galaxy Trucker, in the sense that you get to plan ahead to a certain extent, only to see those ideas smashed to bits by the time the other players place their lava tiles. This game reminds me of a time when life was a lot more simple. No flashy minis, no complicated rule sets, and just a let's see what the fuck is going to happen here for an hour or so, just for the hell of it, yeah? One saving grace is that in philosophical terms, life tends to be cyclical. So maybe it's just a matter of time before we all move back to wonderful gems like this one. So there you go. That is the Downfall of Pompeii. Remember, if you are new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel with the like button and all that YouTube bullshit. And we'll see you next Tuesday.